Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. My hotel. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Hopefully you can see and hear me okay for this very brief war briefing today. Quick broadcast, family. But I'm going to call a little drive-by family because I'm getting ready to go live on another platform here in just a moment, literally. But I wanted to run this by you really quick, family. As you come on in, giving us a big thumbs up. Be sure to like and share. I trust that the right people at the right time will see and hear this broadcast when it is time. It's been a minute since I have been here sitting in my glorious chamber studio. So I wanted to come to you very briefly. I've discussed, many of you all have already know that, we have to put this fraud that is Jane Elliott on the map so many years ago when I was on other platforms. But she continues to cosplay like she is really a true ally for Black folks. For those of you that don't know, this Jane Elliott lady is a white woman who is always talking about how horrible, white people are and racist they are, which of course that part is true as it relates to, the diabolical anti-Blackness historically. But when you ask her about holding them accountable, talk black to me, somebody, when you talk to her about holding them accountable, and especially when we discuss reparations, beloved, she acts like she's lost her mind and she's against that. So I was, I busted her some years ago. I've done multiple broadcasts on that. And highlighting some things that she has discussed and talked about. And I really, helped to make some of those issues, see those issues out so that more of our people can hear about it. I see some of y'all coming on in. How y'all doing, Erica, Kathleen, and some of you others? I'm not even trying to read some of y'all names. I don't know where y'all be getting these tags from. People can't even pronounce it. I have to skip along. I be wanting to shout y'all out, but y'all be doing too much with them titles. I don't know how to read them. Shout out to our moderator, Miss Sharifa, in the building. Thank you for the green hearts, precious. So I'm going to hurry up and get to where I'm going really quick, family. So as you come in, be sure to give us a big thumbs up, and share. Thumbs up, share. And again, I've talked about this multiple times. I've even talked about this recent incident on another platform, but I certainly need to discuss it here on my own platform. Yes, love your energy. Thank you, Marissa. Family, I want you all to watch this really quick. Not too long ago, Jane Elliott took her funny looking self back on Roland Martin's show. Now, your Black bootlicks love this white woman. They love to bring her on and pay her bills. They love to give her shine and stuff. Those that do give her a honorarium or whatnot. But I'm not saying that they gave her one for this particular show. But generally speaking, a lot of your HBCUs, a lot of them kind of folks love to bring this white woman in to talk about her own people. But when it comes down to holding folks accountable, they don't want to do nothing about it. We don't care nothing about the fact that you want to admit that your white people were uncivilized and wicked and anti-Black and terrorists. Talk black to me. That's known. If you don't want to do anything about it when we start talking to you about it, beloved, we who are intelligent consider you equally Black. I mean, equally problematic. Anti-American, looking stunning, Vicki, my love. Thank you, precious. 906, you glowing, Miss Vicki. Thank you so much. Y'all are so kind for your very beautiful, kind words. Now, I want y'all to watch this brief clip that was on X. And of course, like I said, y'all know I was one of the first ones. Somebody actually tagged me in this post to thank me for us putting this woman on blast. And other folks are exposing it now too. But I'm gonna show you this particular clip here.
We know that white and Black are not real in biology.
Okay, yeah, I want y'all to watch this clip real quick where she was on Roland Martin's show recently. Okay, and this is one of Roland Martin's panel, family. Y'all, as y'all come in, be sure to give us a big thumbs up. Be sure to like and share the broadcast. Okay. Thank you so very much. My notifications didn't even go out based on what I see here, but that's okay. We'll share this in a little bit here. Yes, let folks know, family, as you come in to give us a thumbs up, family. Be sure to join the Vicki Dillard Mystery School, family. That's my monthly mastermind. On my website at VickiPlanet.com. If one of my moderators could put that link in the chat to my website. Family, you don't want to miss that. Let me tell you all something. There's a lot of stuff that's happening spiritually, metaphysically. There's a lot of stuff that's been taking place. When I was the one that was saying that I'm on the plan to do something that others haven't done. When I said that I'm going to create a new Vatican, and I connect the dots between the ancient Black origins of the Vatican that was stolen from a matrilineal order. When I get into the details of a lot of that kind of stuff, and then when I start talking practically how we can do that, I've done multiple series giving you insight on geopolitics, spiritual things. Now, I know some of you all, this is too heavy for some of y'all. So the moment we start talking about the real enemy, because your real enemy that works domestically has a heavy hand internationally. So you can't avoid talking about international politics, silly, if you want to be world rulers. Now, that ain't everybody's level. So if that's not your level, go to them platforms that's all about the local levels. You can't claim to be the original people of the planet and then want to know why the rest of the world is your business. Are you on something? Thank you, Miss Sharifa. Let me see if I can pin this. Did you hear what I just said right there? You cannot sit up here and say, I'm pinning your message now, fam. So you can join the Vicki Dillard Mystery School for very, very low cost every month, to where you get a free lecture every single month from me. You also get access to months of free lectures and teachings, unmatched teachings that nobody else nowhere does it like me. And the reason why they don't, it's not about bragging, it's just about the truth, is the information that I channel is high level divine knowledge that I channel and that I provide to the people and connect dots that you perhaps didn't know about. But also this empowers you with spiritual power, because that is our sacred secret to ruling the worlds and ensuring that the old world order ends and that the new world order comes in. Talk black to me. How many of you all know that the foolish are the ones that's going to take over the new world? When I say foolish, those that are considered in the eyes of the world to be the nobodies, the deaf, the dumb, and the blind, that's us. We're not saying we're there. I'm trying to tell you this is how we're seen in the eyes of the powers that shouldn't be. I see you, Brother Berger. That's one of my strong supporters there. I give this information. I call out the enemy by name and talk about some of their internal maneuvers in a way that others simply cannot, because this is not this is not the high council access that they have. I'm not talking about your little United States Situation Room. I'm not talking about your Security Council in the UN. I'm not talking about other war rooms and council rooms that other high-level government officials have. I'm talking about the ultimate supreme ancestral and my spiritual assembly war room. Do y'all understand this? That we're paying a very unique position in this particular time. Your gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Are y'all hearing me today? So this is a reason why it's important for you to invest in yourself in my school, because not only do you get access to a bunch of discounted stuff and a bunch of other benefits, how many of you all know that information is so important that your government classifies it? That means certain types of information you can't get if you don't have a certain level of clearance. Do you understand me? There's a certain level of knowledge. Certain knowledge will put you in a position to where you can rule the worlds or destroy nations and people. Do y'all hear me today? Why do you all think they got this big fight going on with AI right now, artificial intelligence? Why do you guys think right now they're trying to sell our data and information left and right? It's because of what they do with that information. I'm trying to show you that if on a natural level, they find powerful ways in which they can use your natural information, where do you think you would be if you had the necessary spiritual information, the spiritual knowledge that you needed? Are y'all hearing me today? I see you, precious. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share. Now, let me hurry up, y'all. I got to go. I know y'all be like, Vicki, you always say you got to go quick. Watch how fast I'm going to get out of here, because I got to get ready to go live on an African Diaspora News channel here in just a little bit, in a few minutes. But I didn't know if you all saw this or not. Again, I had a reputation of exposing this years ago for a long time to help put this on the map, the inconsistencies with this white woman named Jane Elliott. Of course, she came on the scene years and years ago on the Oprah Winfrey Show, many decades ago, several decades ago, when Oprah put her in the spotlight, and then she was on a whole bunch of other shows, and then some of you black folks start to embrace this white woman because she admits, how diabolical her own people can be. But who cares about that when she's against reparations? Well, she is apparently still in the same belief system as she was before. So I want you all to listen to a little bit of this brief clip of when she was recently on Roland Martin's show. He had a panel, and I want you to look at some of your black so-called intellectuals. This is Dr. Carr with his funny looking silly. I almost said something real bad right there. And that wasn't what our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ would say.
They exist as social forces and as a Sister Elliott, we know that white and black are not real in biology, and we also know that, of course, they exist as social forces and as a kind of racial contract. I wonder if you have any thoughts about reparations in this sense. We know in California, some of the folks who are saying, of course, the Supreme Court would not recognize race as a protected class that would allow people to get reparations based on their racial identity. That's their colorblind constitutionalism. We know that. But we also, so if lineage, if tracing back to enslavement would qualify people who were descended from people who were enslaved in the United States, if that were able to survive legal challenge, and I don't think it will because they'll use it as a proxy for race, but let's say it did, should white people proving black ancestry, which is a form, I guess, of embrace.
Before we go further, you see how this ridiculous, pathetic piece of vermin by the name of Dr. Greg Carr sat up there talking to this white woman. He's talking to the enemy about what the enemy thinks about us getting reparations. Now, first of all, he throws it out there about how it's not possible to do it by saying you're black because of the legislation that they passed to say, hey, you can't say that you're black, a color-based law to where you get to where you can get tangibles, right? Reparations. So how many of you all know that in the black grassroots, we know that in our common parlance, in our normal talk, we call each other black a lot of times. Some of you all call each other melanated. Some of you all misunderstand and say, well, don't call yourself black because that's a color. You little ninjas, go sit down somewhere. All y'all get on my nerves. I've already broken that down. I'll break it down metaphysically later again for those of you that's behind the scenes, because some of you all think that you're so smart and intelligent and you think that you're trying to teach us something about nation building and stuff, but you misunderstand the actual etymology of that. But nevertheless, I'll get into that later. Don't come to me with your little legal stuff. I'll school you first, because you haven't set your funny looking selves down long enough to hear what I have to say about it or to embrace what we mean when we're talking about black. But the fact that he would sit there and say this with this white woman and immediately say what America can't do by saying black, that's a lie, family. If every other group they can name and specify can figure out a way to make mischief with the law to get what they want, we could get it done. But nevertheless, amongst black society, amongst the black grassroots, us, notice we say lineage-based reparations. Do y'all understand that? We may talk to each other and call each other black, but when we're dealing legally with reparations, notice we use the language of lineage-based. We consult with our own black legal minds. We're not coming up with this out of our behinds. So y'all understanding me today? But I want you all to see the fact that he's sitting up here setting this up to sabotage what we're doing. Even when he talks about, he moves from the black stuff, acknowledging the fact that we're talking about lineage-based reparations so that we're sound in law, to saying that he still don't think that's going to work because they'll use that as a proxy for race. But he says, nevertheless, he wants to hear what this white woman got to say. Now, this is supposed to be your high-level academic minds talking here. This is why I can't stand these black bootlicks. Again, he's sitting here on the Roland Martin show.
Their black identity, right? Should white people proving black ancestry be eligible for reparations?
If they're promised reparation, they'll go back and they'll choose.
You hear this trash? I got to go, y'all. I got to go in just about 5 minutes. Y'all listen to this, and I'm going to make a quick point, and I'm out of here. Y'all listen to it one more time, this part.
Black ancestry be eligible for reparations?
Wait.
It's a form, I guess, of black identity, right? Should white people proving black ancestry be eligible for reparations?
If they're promised reparation, they'll go back and they'll choose that black ancestry immediately. That's all you have to do to mess the whole situation up, is tell white people that they have black ancestry and they are entitled to reparations. If you're gonna really mess yourself up if you do that. Think about that for a very long time before you do it. However, if you're going to give reparations to people who really deserve it, let's give it to the people who had this land before white folks came and stole it from them. Let's give reparations to the First Nations people who also came from Africa and were here long before slavery started, coming from Africa as being brought here by white people who didn't want to work, but brought people here to work, and so they wouldn't have to. Let's talk about reparations to the First Nations people, shall we?
I agree, but I mean, okay, that's interesting, because I do think that. Ma'am.
Let's give the land back to the people who were here first, and they came from Africa, but we called them red men. We called them red people because we didn't know any better. And we didn't want to admit that they were here long before any people from Europe got here. We think that Columbus discovered America. Thor Heyerdahl said you can't discover a place where people are already living. They discovered it before you got there. This land was discovered long, long before Columbus was a gleam in his father's eye. But you see, we don't tell the truth in history. And we work really hard at deciding what is and is not true based on what white males say should be regarded as truth. That's scary to me, that we are still listening to white males tell us what is and what is not true.
Absolutely.
No, man. What's scary is listen to white males who y'all birthed, who you birthed. These are the people you birthed. They came out your womb, Karen, Jane. What's scary is to keep listening to white men and white women. Now, you all know when she calls the first world people, she's referring to who we consider to really be like those in common parlance to consider to be red Indians. That's what she's referring to. Again, you need to look at my long histories, my long history years of exposing Jane Elliott. That's who she's talking about, y'all. So she's sitting here, she's deflects from the question of black folks getting reparations and saying, no, we need to pay these red Indians first, those that we consider to be Indians, right? She's trying to look like she's just. Now, first of all, how many of us know that these so-called first world people who she's talking about are those that are red-skinned folks? How many of y'all know that they already have land? That's called reservations. How many of you all know that every year, like clockwork, our government continues to support them in other forms of supplemental resources in addition to them getting land and money? Talk black to me, somebody. Do you all see how pathetic this is? And the fact that your so-called professors, your academics, your black bootlicks defer to this white woman and bring her in for her insight to make decisions for black folk. This is the highest form of treason. Now, how many of you all know, as I said when I was in the reparations, when I did my reparations speech with my brother Tariq Nasheed in Washington, D.C., I referred to this then. Of course, I referred to this long before that in my broadcast. How many of you all know that the original native people were black-skinned folks over here in the Americas? How many of you all know that the original first world people, because black folks are the original people throughout the planet, not just on the continent of Africa? How many of my people know that? Before we start doing all this mixing and start knowing people as yellow, red, black, and white, before we got into all these different other colors, how many of you all know that the entire planet, the original man, the original woman, and every square inch of this earth are fully melanated black people, black-skinned people? How many of y'all know that? But to just add, and I got to go super quick, family, because I'm getting ready to go live on another platform. I want to remind you all of something, nevertheless, with Miss Jane Elliott. So in addition to what I just said about who the original so-called native people are, which means it will still go back to the original native black folks in this land, those of us that were originally here, and those of us that were brought here on ships. We're still those that are responsible for building the United States of America, right? Watch this. But the fact that white folks all of a sudden go act like she cares about other folks of the world. See, this is how you know they have a disdain for black people, because they'll jump to other people groups before they give us what's ours. She'll sit there and say, well, let's give Indians reparations before we get to black folks. That's how much they can't stand us. But in addition to what I just said a few minutes ago, right? Us being the original people. Somebody put a feather in the chat. Somebody say, that's us. Somebody put a feather in the chat. How many of y'all know we was here before Columbus? And we're the black-skinned people. And if you got a problem with me saying black skin, get off my channel. Especially those y'all that think you so deep and enlightened out there with your ignorant self. But I want to tell you something really quick. That's something Dr. Claude Anderson said. And I'm about to get off. I'm reading from his book, More Dirty Little Secrets. How many of y'all know Dr. Claude Anderson has like 5 or 6 books he's written? And this is one of those books that he's written. I got just a couple more left on my website. I'm almost completely out. You can go to VickiPlanning.com and go straight to Dr. Claude's website at Powernomics.com to support him directly. Listen to what he says about American Indians on black folks in America on page 271. Are y'all listening? He says American Indians are indebted to Black Americans for reparations, notwithstanding the popular image of American Indians as an oppressed people. Somebody tell Jane Elliott's funny looking self about this right here. In 1790, George Washington encouraged Indians to become, quote, civilized by modeling their culture after white European colonialists. Are y'all listening? These are the ones she's talking about. Indians heeded Washington's admonition and became slaveholders and slave traders. Somebody say the Indians were slaveholders and slave traders. Jane Elliott. So when I said everybody owes us, including white Zionists, including red Indians, I mean everybody. Every other people group that claim they experienced some other form of oppression, all y'all owe us. Did y'all hear what I said right there? Indians heeded Washington's admonition and became slaveholders and slave traders like civilized whites. Colonial treaties rewarded Indians, y'all listen, by paying them bounties to capture runaways, pushing Indians deeper into the enslavement system and giving Indians firsthand experience with the strong racial hatred that whites felt for blacks. Indians did not want to be treated like blacks and did not willingly identify with blacks, especially since Indians too could enjoy the fruits of black slavery. Y'all better listen. American Indians used their black slaves as a source of revenue and wealth. Jane Elliott, I'm going to say it again. I said American Indians, the ones that she's referring to, use their black slaves as a source of revenue and wealth, but also as common laborers, interpreters, teachers, and fellow warriors. Did y'all know that? See, we only do receipts over here. So Dr. Carr, who's over there on Roland Martin's show, that's supposed to be one of your elite intelligent teachers, every time he on TV, he's got a bunch of books behind him. Burn them books, ninja. Burn every one of them books. I'm happy to school your funny looking self. When the Civil War ended in 1865, the United States government signed treaties with 5 civilized tribes. Y'all hearing me? The Cherokee, Chickasaw, Creek, Choctaw, and Seminole, but also the Apache, Fox, Blackfoot, Cheyenne, the Comacachee, the Arapahoes, the Kiowa, the Winnebago, and all the remaining slaveholding Indian tribes. In these treaties, the United States government gave Indians certain benefits, rights, and financial remuneration. In exchange, the tribes agreed to provide their black slaves with freedom, land, money, and full citizenships in their respective tribes. However, y'all listen, within a few years after the close of the war, all the Indian tribes reneged. I'm going to say it again. All the Indian tribes reneged on every point with the exception of the Seminoles. Granting full citizenship to black slaves was particularly important because the treaties granted common land ownership to all the tribes, and any member of the tribe had full access and rights to everything on the land. When the Indian governing bodies divided the land among the individual members of the tribes, blacks were supposed to have received their fair share. Instead, during the 20th century, all the tribes violated the treaties and established tribal policies to exclude blacks from Indian memberships and benefits. I gotta go. Y'all share this broadcast. I got to run over to do another broadcast. I love y'all so much. Share this broadcast. Join the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. The link is in the chat. Or go to my website at VickiPlanet.com. I can't wait to see you again.